Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahushai. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel. Barakim La, Habayath, Madabadah. Blessings to the house of David, which ye brothers labor in, and to the Akim Wa Akwath, which are the brothers and sisters that listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached throughout the four corners of the earth, each and every day. Unto you, I say Shalom. Shalom and Barakatham, right? Unto the very end. Blessings unto the very end. Wa Lakwatazah. To you believers, right? To the Bukarium, which is also known as the elect. So this is the brother Sakalah back with another lesson. And I wanted to jump into this article from amp.dw.com. And this is the premise of the lesson. And this is the business section going into global issues. It says here the title, Billionaires Growing Richer Faster Than Ever, says Oxfam. And it's dated January the 20th, 2025, which is today. It says Oxfam said trillionaires are expected to emerge within the next decade, as the richest 1% now own 45% of global wealth, while 44% of humanity lives on less than $6.85 per day. It goes on to say there is an increasing disparity in the world today as an aristocratic oligarchy is amassing wealth at unforeseen levels. A report published by development organization Oxfam, published ahead of the World Economic Forum in Davos, the report titled Takers Not Makers said billionaire wealth soared by $2 trillion in 2024, growing 3 times faster than the previous year. While the richest 1% now own 45% of global wealth, 44% of humanity lives on less than $6.85 per day, and global poverty rates have been barely changed since the 1990s, the report said. We present this report as a stark wake-up call that ordinary people in the world over are being crushed by the enormous wealth of the tiny few. Oxfam executive director said, the rich are getting richer. The report also predicted that the world's first trillionaires would emerge within the next decade as the wealth of the richest 10 billionaires grew by $100 million per day on average over the last 10 years. The last year saw the emergence of 204 new billionaires, it says, with total billionaire wealth increasing by $2 trillion in 2024. So that right there pretty much sums everything up, which it speaks about how the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. But see, the believers, which is the elect today, are known as the poor in spirit, but they are the ones that are rich in faith. And we'll get that precept, right? We'll get that precept. So this is really about the elect. First, let me go here and go to the book of Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. This is Proverbs 3 and verse 31. It says, envy not thou the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So we don't envy our oppressors. And who are the oppressors? The oppressors are the modern day Egyptians, which are the Edomites. The modern day Egyptians, the Assyrians, these are all names going into our oppressors. So our oppressors today would be the Egyptians, which would be the Edomites, that would be in the same spirit as those that had us captive back in ancient Egypt. So here in New Egypt, in Babylon the Great, America, you have the same thing going on today in the spirit. Just a different nation, which is the nation of Edom. Now this comes to mind before we get into it. This is the book of Jude. Right, so you have the ancient Egyptians, which are like the modern day Egyptians. And here's a reason why. Here's a parallel in the spirit. Jude 1 and 5, it says, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this. Speaking of those of us that have been made privy to this knowledge, this truth, which is the mystery that's been hid from ages, this understanding. It says, how that the Adawan, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not. So only the elect are going to make it out of New Egypt, Babylon the Great. So the parallel there is that the Most High is going to destroy those that don't believe again today. As it says here in the book of, this comes to mind, Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. Second Ezra 15 and verse 4. It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So all the unbelievers and non-believers are going to die. That's a penalty unto death, right? Which is not believing in the Son and the Father through the Holy Spirit, not having this knowledge, not actually having a covering, is going to be to the detriment, to the demise of the majority of our people, which are the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who comprise and make up the 12 tribes, right? Which are the people, the chosen people of the Most High God in the Holy Scriptures. So this word, this message is unto you, and to the Israelites is scattered, right? Who are in a heathen, Gentile way of thinking and living and being, that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. But you actually go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For those of you that can receive this word, this truth, if it jives in your spirit, then hey, this is for you. Now, all the unfaithful, it says, are going to die in their unfaithfulness. So that's a penalty unto death, being a non-believer, being a naysayer, a gangsayer, being against this truth ultimately. So this word is really only for the believers, the poor in spirit, as we read about. Now let's get this in Matthew before we get that. We'll get a few, right? Just going into how we don't envy our oppressors, which are the Edomites, and we're not going to choose none of his ways, right? We would rather remain being the poor of the earth than to be rich in this world and be destroyed, because we'll get that as well. The scriptures tell us the first is going to be last and the last is going to be first. Matthew 5 and verse 3, it says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So who's going to receive the kingdom of heaven is going to be the poor in spirit. And as I quoted it, I'll just go ahead and get it. This is the book of James, the 5th chapter. James, the 5th chapter. No, it's James, the 2nd chapter. James 2 and verse 5. So, blessed are the poor, for they shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So the kingdom of the Most High, the kingdom of heaven, is coming to the elect, which is another name, or another identifier, being the poor of the earth. Now, this will go even further and explain who are the poor, right, that are going to be given the kingdom. This will be also, these people will be called humble, the meek of the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. These are all identifiers of the believers, the preserved of the nation of Israel. James 2 and 5, hearken, my beloved brethren. It says, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith? So the poor of this world are actually rich in the spirit because they're rich in faith, right? Our spirits, are beat down from being underneath the cruel oppression of the wicked, and being in this world, and being even amongst our people who will be non-believers, who will be against righteousness. But the Most High put a particular spirit in the believers, right, to endure. James 2 and 5 again, hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. So the believers are going to receive those promises. Verse 6, but ye have despised the poor. Who have despised the poor? Esau, Edom, right? The rich of this world. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seat? So we're constantly judged by the wicked. Let's go over a few chapters and pick right up here. Speaking of the rich, do not rich men oppress you. This is James 5 and verse 1. Now here you see the title. It says the misuse of riches, warning to the rich. James 5 and 1, it says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. And what are those miseries? The Babylon is going to be destroyed, and all the Edomites are going into slavery. Many are going to die here in the lake of fire, along with the rebellious house, the children of disobedience, you Israelites, right, that won't return and repent. James 2 and 2, it says, your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Verse 3, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. The fact that this economic system is soon to fall, this is going to be a witness against who the wicked is. Because when Babylon falls, the world is going to fall with it. And ye shall eat your flesh as it were fire. That's going to be the missiles. Ye have heaped together. It says you have heaped treasure together for the last days. Verse 4, behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you. It says kept back by fraud. That was the man of sin, right? As it says in Micah 2:2, that they covet fields and take them by violence. And they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Behold the hire of the laborers, which are the children of Israel, who have reaped down your fields. That's who has built up America, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are enter into the ears of the Lord, or Adonai of Sabaoth. Verse 5. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. That's what this article was all about, how the rich are getting richer and how there's going to be more and more, not billionaires, trillionaires, right? And how the rich, the billionaires, on average has gained in wealth, which is $100 million, even in this last year or so. Ye have lived in pleasure. That's them living in pleasure on the earth and been wanton, meaning you lived in luxury. You did whatever you wanted to do. You ruled, right, in wickedness. And with your money, you did what? You pushed for, nuclear proliferation. You pushed for, the destruction of the children of Israel. You pushed for the advancement in technology to go into space when you got all kind of problems right here on the earth. So the rich truly don't really care for the people of the earth because they are serfs, they are subjects, they are slaves. There's always been a ruling class and there's always been a working class, and that will never change. So those that will be workers are the ones that's making the rich more and more rich. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You just went and took and did whatever you wanted to do, and no one could stop you, right? It says, verse 6, ye have condemned and killed the just. And who are the just? The children of Israel. And he doth not resist you. It's nothing that our people could do to actually not receive of this fate. Now, Esau believes that is manifest destiny, meaning is his destiny, given by the Most High God to rule forever and for him to live and do wickedly on the earth. And that was God's, gift to him. But now he thinks that he's God when you read in Isaiah the 14th chapter. And he has, on his money and God we trust, and in his courtrooms and God we trust, and he promotes that on the earth, but he truly doesn't trust in the Most High. He don't have any faith in the Most High, nor do he serve him according to his word. So that clearly shows you, that this is the wicked who is ruling today. Now, here goes another precept that comes to mind. This is Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. Ecclesiastes 7 in verse 8, it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit, which is who? The poor of the earth. The poor in spirit, the ones that are rich in faith, the elect, the meek, the humble, the lowly. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And the proud in spirit will be the Edomites, the one that's ruling in wickedness. They would be the proud in spirit. Now let's show that. Here goes a parable. Let me get a little bit of this. This comes to mind in the book of Luke. This is Luke, the 16th chapter, going into the patient and the poor in spirit, the proud and the humble. This is Luke 16. Here it is in verse 19. And this is a parable of the rich man and Lazarus, the rich man being Esau, Edom, the man of sin, and Lazarus, whose name means he who God helps, which would be the children of Israel. It says there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple. Purple was symbolic of royalty, and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. Now we just read, going back into the book of James, the 5th chapter, that they have lived wanton on the earth, the rich man. They've gathered together all the gold and the silver, all the riches for the last days. Continuing on, verse 20, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and this would be Israel. When you read Isaiah, the 1st chapter, as one example, And that's our people, being, you know, at the lowest point that they've ever been, being in degradation. So this would be them having sores. This is the trauma that came from 400 plus years of oppression, right? Chattel slavery, the slave trades, the transatlantic, the Arab, the Dutch, and the Native American slave trades. These are all the things that got our people at a low estate. That's them having those sores and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. That would be Esau. So our people have lived here in America, especially here, in the last 100 plus years, 150 years, eating crumbs, although they're supposed to be so-called free. So that's the illusion of inclusion, right? Believing that you are part of something that you never were part of, right? You are 3/5 of a man. So that's why the Israelites get treated the way they get treated still to this very day. And you remain in captivity because your mind is gone, right? Because the scriptures tell you in Baruch, the 3rd chapter, that we remain yet this day in our captivity, where we are subject to payments. You pay bills for a litany of things. Most of your money goes toward bills. Like we read in the article that 1% owns almost half of the wealth in the world. That would be the billionaires. And there are billionaire families. And there's becoming more and more individual billionaires, like Zuckerberg is supposed to be on that list, among others. Elon Musk, So a lot of these men are a small part of the conglomerate of the rich. So our people have been desiring to be fed with the crumbs that come from who? The rich, which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So these would be the other nations. Let's go down to the point. Let's go down to verse 24. It says, and he cried and said, speaking of the rich man, because the tables are about to turn. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me. So Esau is going to be begging for mercy here before long, the rich man, right? And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus, which was Israel, that he may dip the tip of his finger, it says, in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. This is when Esau is going to be in hell, which is going to be the heaven of the children of Israel, meaning the rulership of our people forever and ever. When you read in Isaiah 45:17, right? Israel will be known as a world without end. The rule of our people is never going to end. This is Luke 16:25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things. This was him living one time on the earth. And likewise, Lazarus, the children of Israel, evil things. This was slavery, right? But now he is comforted and thou art tormented. So now everything has to turn back over. It's the only way it could be right, because it tells you in the book of 1 Thessalonians that it is a righteous thing, with the Most High God to recompense tribulation to those that trouble you. It's a righteous thing. Now, this comes to mind as well. This is in the book of Psalm, the 91st chapter. This is the book of Psalm 91, because Esau is going to beg for mercy. Psalm 91 and verse 8, it says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Let me read that again. Psalm 91 and 8, it says, only with thine eyes, speaking of the children of Israel, the elect of the nation of Israel, right, who's been given the promise of salvation, shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. So only with our eyes are we going to see this devil go down. I mean, we're not going to have to suffer the fate that's coming to Esau if we return and live according, to the words of the Most High and have faith. Ultimately, that would be to the elect. Those are the only ones that are going to do that, right? Those are the only ones that are going to do that. Now, this shows you something about the man of sin, who is Esau. This is another way we can identify and know that these scriptures are indeed talking about him. This is Isaiah 26. Let me highlight this. In verse 10, it says, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. So no matter what can be done, No matter what you do, the man of sin he's not going to acknowledge or be righteous. What's that comes to mind? It's Ecclesiastes 1 should be 15. Ecclesiastes 1 and 15, it says, that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. So the Most High has clearly made Esau the way he's made him. He's made him to be the wicked. He's made him to be crooked, meaning wicked, unrighteous, sinister, evil, demonic. Isaiah 26 and 10, it says, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and that's how he's dealt with the children of Israel, unjustly. It says, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord Yahweh. So he doesn't care for righteousness, as it says in the scriptures that God is not in all of his thoughts. The Most High God is not in all of his thoughts. Now, this also comes to mind in Psalm 73, it should be. Speaking of the wicked, just a few ways to identify Esau today. Now, this is about the wicked here. The end of the wicked, as you see, contrast with that of the righteous. So the contrast between what's coming to the wicked and then what is going on with the righteous. Let's start here. This is Psalm 73 and 3. It says, for I was envious at the foolish, and the Bible tells us to envy, right, our oppressors, which they're also known as the children of fools or the foolish. Psalm 73 and 3, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. So we're not supposed to envy our oppressor or choose none of his ways, right? Just because he's prospering. This is only for a season, as it says in Job 20 and 5. The triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Psalm 73 and 4, it says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Verse 5, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, because they've lived in under white privilege. They've lived under white privilege. They've amassed and set up a society where they, damn near double the wealth of the children of Israel who built this country. And that's pretty much set in stone in general. So there's no way, there's articles have come out over the years saying it would take over 200 years for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American people to be where Esau is today. So where would they be in 200 years? That proves to you, not that we're going to be here that long, but in general, where would they be at if they're already, halfway down the track of a race? They're already halfway there. So where would they be in that time? That shows you how low our people are, right? And why they're the poor of the earth, the poor in spirit and rich in faith, the meek, the humble, the lowly. That's the reason why, right? So now let me get this and close it out. So this just identified who Esau is, who the man of sin truly is, right? He's not going to learn righteousness, as it says in Isaiah 26 and 10, right? But he's the crooked. Now, this is in Luke. We'll end it here. This is Luke, the 12th chapter. Luke 12. These are words of Yahweh Shai, starting at verse 21. Luke 12 and 21, it says, so is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward the Most High. Now it tells you in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, the 18th verse, right? It talks about those that are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. Although they might have carnal riches in this world, if you don't have the truth, then you really, in the sight of the Most High, are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. Those are all things that are symbolic of those that don't have the truth. They don't have a covering, right? They're not right in the sight of the Most High. They're not upright. They don't have on the white garments. Luke 12 and 21 again. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward the Most High. So how are we rich toward the Most High? By doing the work of the Most High, right? By returning and repenting, by being a steward, a minister, a servant, by fearing the Lord and keeping his commandments, by offending less, by rehearsing the righteous acts. That's how we become rich toward the Most High God. That's how we truly store up treasures in heaven. Now it says in the NLT, yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with the Most High. So most of our people, which are the Israelites, don't serve the Most High. 2/3 of our nation, in fact, the scriptures let us know, are going to be cut off and die. They don't serve the Most High God. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward the Most High. And he said the words of Yahushua unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought of your life, what ye shall eat, neither, it says, for the body, what ye shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment, right? So life is more than what we wear and about the things that we amass in this world. As the scriptures say, that that life consisteth not in the abundance of things which a man possesseth. Let's read it again. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. So life is more than, pleasing your flesh and the things that you have and what you can acquire. Truly living is keeping the commandments and fearing the Most High. That's truly what it means to live in His sight. So with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting to you believing brothers and sisters, which is Philippians 4:7, the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is this truth. I want to give all praises, infinite honor, and glory unto the God of heaven and earth, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, whose name is Yahushai. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel. Barak Yamla Habayath Madawadah. Blessings to the house of David, which are your brothers laboring, and to the Akim Wahagwath, brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached throughout the four corners of the earth, day in and day out. Unto you, I say, Shalom.